بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، العاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إله الأولين والآخرين، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد الأولين والآخرين وقائد الغر المحجلين، صلوات ربي وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى يبارك في جمعنا هذا وأن يجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعا مرحوما، تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا يجعل فينا ولا معنا ولا من بيننا شقيا ولا محروما. وأسأل سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقنا العلم النافع والعمل الصالح الذي يرضيه عنا سبحانه. As usual, we'll start inshallah with a quick revision of last session. But today's revision will be 3 questions. What are the 4 things that Imam Muhammad bin Wahab says? Imam Muhammad bin Wahab said the 4 things a Muslim should do. First thing is al-ilm, knowledge, like we're doing now, studying, learning. Number 2, al-amal bih, to implement it. So how can we implement something that we study when as soon as we get up from here, we're out the door, it's out of our brain? Number 3, da'wah ilayh, to call to preach it. Again, how can we preach something that we've studied but we forgot? Number 4, sabr al-adha, to be patient when you preach to something. Of course you're going to face hardship. Like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he called his people to Islam, he was put through a lot. He was tortured, he was punished. The Quraysh did a lot to him. The people of Ta'if threw him with stones. So we have to be patient. Again, how can we be patient on something we call to if we can't implement it because we studied it and we forgot it? The ulama say, al-ilmu sayd. Knowledge is like a prey, something that you hunt. Now if you hunt something, do you just keep it next to you? You hunt a rabbit. You put a trap, you caught the rabbit. So do you take it out of the trap and just keep it there? Or do you tie it up?
Tie it up.
Answer.
You tie it
So
up.
what the ulama say, al-ilmu saydun wal-kitabatu qayduhu. Knowledge is like something we hunt. And writing down al-kitaba is what we tie that prey with. فَقَيِّدْ صُيُودَكَ بِالْحِبَالِ الْوَاثِقِ. So tie up your hunt or your prey with strong rope. So write down everything you know, brothers and sisters. Everything we learn, we must write it down, otherwise it's gonna evaporate, it's gonna disappear. Now nobody claims to be a computer or a stereo that can just record everything and remember it whenever he wants. Even me, before I started giving these lessons, I had to do my research and I had to write it down. If I didn't write it down, probably I wouldn't be able to finish the lecture. Even before this, while I was studying with my Shaykh, I never used to, not only me, all the brothers that used to study, nobody used to just show up like that. Because we know that knowledge is not something easy. When we go to school, when we study, we go to TAFE, we go to college, we bring a book with us, don't we? Or we have books given to us, and we take notes. Now why do we take notes when we're learning stuff for the dunya? When we get a business call, we write down the guy's name, the client's name, his address, what he wants, etc., etc. But when it comes to religion, nobody writes anything down. Oh, sorry for the hard introduction, but we need this, brothers. We need to actually benefit from coming here. I mean, we could be elsewhere, we could be doing something else, couldn't we? But since we chose to come here, let's at least benefit from it. Inshallah. Starting from next lesson, brothers, please bring something to write with. Or inshallah, tonight we'll hand out these, and then we can take notes on them, inshallah. They just need to be stapled. So whoever gets a copy, just staple it somewhere, inshallah, and bring it next week. So, what we took last session, first we started with the different aspects, or the different aspects of Al-Aqeedah, what we study under Al-Aqeedah. we said we studied أركان الإيمان الستة, the 6 pillars of Iman. وما يتفرع عن ذلك, what branches from that when it concerning the attributes of Allah Azza wa Jalla, concerning Quran, concerning Qadar, destiny. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, we said, how people are classified when it comes to religion. How Allah Azza wa Jalla classified people. We have the people of Islam, and then we have Kuffar, we have Mushrikeen, we have Munafiqeen, and we have Al-Murtaddeen. So these are the 5 groups, or the 5 classifications when it comes to religion. Number 4 we have Karamat al-Awliya, the miracles. Number 5 we have Sihr, magic, and what people of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah say about magic. And number 6 we have Al-Bid'ah, innovation, the types of innovation and the degrees of people when it comes to innovation, or Ahl-Bid'ah, Asnaf Ahl-Bid'ah. After that we went on to Usul al-Aqaid, the properties of Aqidah Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, what distincts our Aqidah from the Aqidah of other sects and other beliefs. We said, number 1, Tawheed. It all comes back to Tawheed, oneness of Allah Azza wa Jalla, to believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla and to follow His Messenger. Tawheedullah, ittiba' Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 2, we said the sources. What are the sources of our Aqidah? Only 2 sources we have, the Quran and the Sunnah. Like we said in fiqh, we have 4 sources: Quran, the Sunnah, the Ijma' and the Qiyas. But when it comes to Aqidah, only 2 sources. Our Aqidah is only taken from Quran and from Sunnah, not from opinion, not from Ijma', nothing else. Number 3. موافقة الفطرة السليمة. It goes according to common sense. You'll find nothing in Aqidah that contradicts common sense. Why? So it can be easy for people to accept. If something was going against, if someone told you to believe in something that you can't even imagine, would you do that? Of course not. So Aqidah goes according to common sense. Number 4, موافقة العقل الصريح. It goes according to what a person can think, العقل الصريح, a sane mind. Okay? It doesn't collide with the brain. Number 5, الشمولية, inclusion. So Al-Aqidah, it touches every aspect of our life. There's nothing that, you cannot raise a question and you won't find an answer to what in our Aqidah. And number 6, see why that's so important? التشابه, similarity. You will find no contradiction when it comes to Aqidah. You won't find an ayah telling us to believe in something or to do something and another ayah telling us to do exactly the opposite. So everything in our Aqidah is mutashabih, similar. And number 7, and last, الوسطية, moderation. وكذلك جعلناكم أمة وسطا. So our Aqidah is wasat, in the middle, not to one extreme and not to the other. As we will see today, inshallah, when it comes to, like, for example, Al-Kaba'ir. Okay, so today, inshallah, we start with, or as I mentioned last time, inshallah, today's lesson will be about, the types or the groups of people when it comes to religion. As we mentioned before, there's 5 groups. Who can repeat them?
Believer.
People of Islam, yeah, believers, yeah.
Kafir.
Kuffar, disbelievers.
Hypocrite.
Fasiq.
Munafiq, 3. 4, Murtad, apostate, and 5, Mushrik, associator. So we'll start with the first, the believers. Now, of course, we need to believe, or the only door to enter Islam is through which door? Shahadatain, the door of Shahada. No one can become a Muslim until he says the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. Even though he believes in his heart that there is only one God but Allah, he has to utter it, he has to say it. He's not a Muslim until he says it. Now, as mentioned in Hadith Jibreel, there are 3 levels of belief: Islam, Iman and Ihsan. Now, when these 3 are mentioned by themselves, alone, they mean the same thing. They all mean religion, the beliefs and the acts. Okay? When you find a verse in Quran mentioning only Islam, that means everything. All Islam, beliefs and acts. But when you find a verse mentioning both, like for example Islam and Iman both in the same ayah, there has to be a difference between it. There has to be a difference. Because Quran doesn't repeat itself for no reason. Like for example in the ayah, قالت الأعراب آمنا. The Arab said, we believe. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا. You did not believe, but you submitted. So there is a difference between Iman and Islam and Ihsan as well. That's when they come together in the same sentence or the same verse. But as I mentioned before, if they are mentioned alone, they can be used interchangeably. They mean the same thing. So we'll start off with Islam. Let's take the definition of Islam. As I mentioned before in our first lesson, the ulama, when they come to make definition of something, what do?
Look at it linguistically.
Yeah, they give definition in both terms, the literal definition or the linguistic definition and al-ma'na al-istilahi or shari, the terminological definition. So when it comes to Islam, it has a meaning that the Arabs used to use before Islam actually came down, which is the linguistic definition or the literal definition. So Islam in Arabic means al-inqiyad wal-id'an, to submit or to surrender. If we say someone istaslam, he surrendered. The terminological definition is al-istislamu lillah bil-tawheed wal-inqiyadu lahu bil-ta'ah wal-bara'atu min al-shirk wa ahlihi. Al-istislam lillah bil-tawheed, to surrender to Allah Azza wa Jal with tawheed, oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal, wal-inqiyadu lahu bil-ta'ah, and to subjugate to Him by obedience, which means to obey Allah Azza wa Jal in all His commands. وَالْبَرَاءَةُ مِنَ الشِّرْكِ وَأَهْلِهِ, and to be free from the shirk and the people of shirk. This is what Islam means, or the terminological definition of Islam. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions that Allah in the Quran, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The religion before Allah Azza wa Jal is Islam. وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَا يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. And whoever embraces or accepts a religion besides Islam, فَلَا يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ, it won't be accepted from him. Now, what does a person have to do to be called a Muslim? Well, before we get to that, I said that when al-Islam and Iman come together in the same sentence, they mean different things. So what does Islam mean? What does Iman mean when they come in the same sentence?
When you say, when it comes to Iman, say you believe it wholeheartedly and you have like no doubt, no whatsoever. Whereas when you have Islam, when you say the word Islam now, we surrender. You say you surrender, like, alright, you say I'm with you, but at the same time in your head you could be thinking otherwise.
Not really. I mean, just nearly the same, eh?
Similar to what?
Yeah. No, al-Islam, when al-Islam and Iman come in the same sentence, al-Islam means al-a'mal al-zahira, the practical rituals or the practical worships. Al-Iman means al-a'mal al-batina, the beliefs. Get it?
Yeah.
When al-Islam and Iman come in the same sentence, al-Islam means practical or al-a'mal al-zahira, rituals or acts that we can see, while Iman means spiritual belief. So as we'll get to see here, Arkan al-Islam are all practical stuff, while Arkan al-Iman, we've already mentioned Arkan al-Iman before, right? The 6 pillars of Iman.
Yeah.
They're all beliefs, all stuff that you do with your heart, right? Whereas Arkan al-Islam or the pillars of Islam are all practical stuff. Who can tell me the pillars of Islam?
شهادتين
Shahada, Salah,
زكاة
Zakah,
صوم يوم رمضان
Sawm, Ramadan,
حج.
Hajj Baytullah. These are all practical stuff. True?
Mm.
So that's the difference between Islam and Iman. Now we'll take each pillar in a bit of detail. الشهادتان أن يعتقد الإنسان أن الله وحده هو الخالق الرازق والمستحق للعبادة وأن يثبت له جميع الأسماء والصفات التي أثبتها لنفسه وأن يعتقد أن الله أرسل رسوله محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنزل عليه القرآن وأمره بإبلاغ هذا الدين إلى الناس كافة. So الشهادتين or the two testifications mean first أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, to believe that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one that runs this universe, المدبر لهذا الكون, the one that what do we say, like he's the one that runs this universe.
He's in control.
The Lord.
The Lord, the one that controls this universe. That's الربوبية. وهو المستحق للعبادة, and he's the one that deserves worship. That's العبودية, that's الألوهية. And all the names and attributes that Allah Azza wa Jal gave to Himself, we believe in it. This is Tawheed al-Asma' wa Sifat. This all has to do with the first part of Shahada. La ilaha illallah. Now the second part, or the second,
About Hakimiyah.
yeah, that goes with the
Asma' wa Sifat.
that goes with Tawheed al-Uluhiyya or Tawheed al-Ubudiyya. It's part of it. Al-Hakimiyya is part of that. Yeah. Now as for the second part, Muhammad Rasulullah, to believe that Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent by Allah Azza wa Jal with the Quran to everyone, to the whole nation, the al-ins wal jinn, the people and the jinn. Okay, that's the first pillar, Shahadatain. The next one, as-salah. As-salah, what's the definition of salah?
Like dua, pray, worship.
Again, we use both definitions.
Linguistic.
The linguistic one means, as you said, ad-du'a, it means ad-du'a. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said إذا دعي أحدكم إلى طعام لغة means الدعاء, to pray. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي. Allah and His angels pray on the Prophet. What does pray here mean?
Send salawat, send his blessing.
Yeah, send His blessings, or send His rahmah, His mercy. It doesn't mean the actual pray, because this is the linguistic meaning, yes?
Isn't there like a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where it says الدعاء هو العبادة?
Yes. Okay.
Is
الدعاء هو العبادة or الدعاء مخ العبادة. That means it's one of the main parts of worship is the dua. So we said الصلاة لغة is الدعاء. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي. يصلون يعني يدعون له بالرحمة والمغفرة. شرعا the Islamic meaning or the terminological meaning is أقوال وأفعال مخصوصة مفتتحة بالتكبير ومختتمة بالتسليم. Certain sayings and actions starting with التكبير الله أكبر and ending with التسليم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. That's the تعريف of the Islamic تعريف of الصلاة.
Ta'rif meaning? Like
Definition. Ta'rif is definition.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we finished with the ta'rif of salah. Inshallah, each of these pillars we're going to be taking a ta'rif, definition, and shurut, conditions. So the first pillar was shahadatain. We took the ta'rif of that. And the pillars, we took them last. Brothers, I said each pillar, inshallah, of these we're going to be taking the ta'rif and the pillars. So we started with the shahadatain. We took a ta'rif of them, right?
Yeah.
The pillars, we took the shurut la ilaha illallah, shurut Muhammad Rasulullah last session, right?
Yeah.
So you can go back to the video, inshallah, take it from there. So, now we came to the salah. We finished the ta'rif. اللغوي والاصطلاحي. We'll come to shurut. all we're concerned with here is شروط الوجوب. الصلاة has شروط الوجوب and شروط الصحة. Now what's the difference between شروط الوجوب and شروط الصحة? شروط الوجوب is the conditions that makes the salah compulsory on you. And there are 4 شروط. While شروط الصحة is the conditions that make your prayer acceptable. And that's 9 conditions. So the first one, شروط الوجوب, is first, al-Islam. First condition. If somebody is not a Muslim, then of course he doesn't have to pray. Number 2, al-aql. Mind. Or good state of mind. So a crazy cannot pray. Or he's not even obliged to pray. Number 3, al-bulugh. Puberty. So anyone that's under the age of puberty is not or not commanded to pray. And number 4,
clean.
You have to pray.
Purity.
That's shurut al-sahha. That's from the conditions for your prayer to be accepted is purity. Oh yeah, true, yeah, tahara. But not having menses. Because if you're not clean and prayer time comes, you still have to pray. You can't have an excuse of you not being clean. Whereas the lady that has menses, al-hayd or nifas, she's not obliged to pray anyway. So here when I say tahara, tahara, that's opposite menses and or al-hayd or nifas. Yeah.
You mentioned
Excuse me?
You mentioned the menses?
Yeah.
One of them?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you are in a safe environment to pray.
You have to pray. Prayer is obligatory on you. This, as I mentioned, is shurut al-wujub.
Yeah.
When these 4 conditions fulfill in someone, he must pray, or he's obliged to pray. Al-Islam, wal-aql, wal-bulugh, wal-tahara.
Tahara, the last one,
Tahara,
purity.
the last one, tahara,
Number 4 is purity.
Yeah, purity, as I said, in opposites to al-hayd or nifas. Of course, this 4th condition has to do with the ladies only. Yeah. Because I said this is shurut al-wujub. Now when it comes to shurut al-sihha, the conditions that make your prayer acceptable, that's 9. One of them is dukhul al-waqt. The time of the prayer has to come. Satr al-awrah, to cover your hidden parts. العورة, yeah. رفع الحدث, إزالة النجاسة, and other conditions, 9 conditions for prayer to be accepted. It's not our issue now. We'll just take short al-wujub. So you brothers have the 4 conditions? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go now to the 3rd pillar, the zakat. Who can give me a ta'rif of zakat?
Zakat comes from the word tazkiyah, to purify.
When I ask for ta'rif, please start with, first we'll talk about the linguistic definition, or the literal. Yeah, well tell me that, so we know that we're going to take both. Say first we're going to start with the linguistic, and it means this, and then
linguistic meaning comes from the word tazkiyah, from the tazkiyah, to purify.
True. Zakat lughatan, linguistically it has more than one meaning. One of them is, as the brother mentioned, it comes from a tazkiyah, which is tahara. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. Take from their money charity, تُطَهِّرُهُمْ, to purify them, وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ, and to give them cleanliness, or to clean the money. It comes also, and it means al-madh, praise. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, فَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, do not praise yourself. So zakah here also means madh, praise. It can also mean an-nama or ziyada, something that grows, or something that
multiplies.
Excuse me?
Multiplies.
Multiplies, yeah. So, as I mentioned before in our first session, that the Islamic meaning is actually derived from the linguistic one, right? So all these definitions that I just mentioned, something that grows and multiplies, and praise and purification can all be used in the Islamic meaning. So zakah, actually it doesn't take off from our money, does it? It actually multiplies our money. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, ما نقص مال من صدقة ما نقص مال من صدقة بل تزيده بل تزيده بل تزيده. No money lessens when you give sadaqah, when you give charity. بل تزيد, it increases, it increases, it increases. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned that 3 times. So this is the meaning of multiplying, and also means the meaning of purification, tathir. We know that zakah is purifying our money. We give the poor their portion. Why? To purify our money. Yeah?
So if we're not doing our zakat, our prayers aren't accepted.
We'll get to that inshallah when we finish. We'll see who, if someone doesn't do one of these pillars, what happens to him. We'll see inshallah. Okay, we'll come to shurut, or first, المعنى الشرعي. What is the terminological definition? حق في المال البالغ نصابا للأصناف الثمانية المنصوص عليها في كتاب الله. It's a portion of your money that Allah Azza wa Jalla obliged you to pay to
8 different parts.
to 8 different people that are mentioned in the ayah. Who can give me the ayah that has Ahl Zakah in it?
Now, I remember that it said الفقراء المساكين الغارمين ابن السبيل.
إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله. Now the beginning of the ayah says إنما الصدقات, charity. So does this ayah concern normal charity or the obliged one, which is zakah?
Obliged.
The obliged one. Why? Because at the end of the ayah it says فريضة من الله, a must that Allah Azza wa Jalla, or something that Allah Azza wa Jalla obliged you to do. We're not obliged to give charity, but we're obliged to give zakah. So this shows that these 8 people are the people that deserve zakah.
Where's the ayah from? What's wrong?
Surah At-Tawbah. I'm not sure which number, but it's from Surah At-Tawbah. So we said it's a portion of your money that you pay out after your money reaches a nisab, a certain threshold, yeah? إنما الصدقات للفقراء. Number 1, the poor. Number 2, المساكين, the needy. Now the difference between faqir and miskin, the ulama say faqir is one that is poor and asks for help, while miskin is someone that's poor but he doesn't ask, but we know that he's poor. That's the difference, okay? There is another difference, I've actually forgot what it is, but that's one of the differences between faqir and miskin, whether he asks or not. So إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين والعاملين عليها, the ones that work collecting zakah. If we were in an Islamic state, the Khalifa would have people that go and collect the zakah from people. So these people that go and collect the zakah, they can be given from it. Okay? وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُم. المؤلفة قلوبهم are the people that,
Hearts are incredible.
yeah, we try to win their hearts. Like, for example, I know a kafir, and I say that inshallah if I give him from this money, he might become Muslim. He might like Islam and become Muslim. So I try to win his heart.
I mentioned that the other night, but not in so much clarity. And the sheikh that spoke to said that Umar radiallahu anhu stopped doing that when Islam was already strong. Does that mean you do not do that then? If Islam is strong...
First, I'm not sure about that. Second, I think that would be a more reason to start trying to win people's hearts. I mean, if Islam is strong and we've already spread Islam with our swords, now let's try win people's hearts.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah. And anyway, it's mentioned in the ayah, so we can't say it's stopped.
Yeah.
Mu'allaf qulubhum, as I mentioned, is the people that we try to win their hearts. Now, it could be a kafir that we want, that we say, inshallah, if we give him this money, he'll accept Islam. Or it could be someone that is like going to do evil to us, and so we pay him from this money so he can refrain from his evil. Okay? That's mu'allaf qulubhum. وفي الرقاب, الرقاب. Like in the olden days, they used to have slaves, and masters would say that if you want to be free, then you pay me such and such, and I'll set you free. So in Islam, we're allowed to help these slaves because it's something that Islam encourages. To free a slave is something that Islam used to encourage. So Islam allowed us to help these slaves pay off their freedom. So if we know a slave that has a certain amount of money to buy his freedom, and we have zakah, we can give him so he can buy his freedom. That's a riqab. وفي سبيل الله, in the sake of Allah, jihad في سبيل الله, to support the mujahideen. وابن السبيل, ابن السبيل is المسافر الذي انقطع به الطريق. Someone was traveling and he got broke. He was traveling, he's in another country and he's broke. He's got nothing to help him go back to his hometown, and he's in need of money. Max, farmer comes to shut the open and he gets a punctured tire. We can give him, and he's out of money. We can give him zakah until he goes back home. No, inshallah, you don't need it, inshallah. So that's not the thamaniya. That's the 8 type of people we can give zakat to.
That's 7.
Yeah. What was that last one?
الفقراء والمساكين العاملين عليها والمؤلفة قلوبهم وفي الرقاب. الغانمين, الغانمين are the people in debt. So anyone that's in debt, we can give him from zakat so he can pay off his debt. Of course, if it's a legitimate debt, someone, halal debt, someone that took a loan to buy a mansion. No, we don't have something like that.
You mentioned that we can give him. Isn't it obligatory we give him to the person who's in debt? Are you saying it's obligatory or we can?
No, you're obliged to give your zakat to any of these 8. Doesn't have to be.
So you have to give zakat and give it to any of these.
Yeah, any of these 8. Of course, I mean it's not canon Islam. You have to pay zakat.
Yeah, I just pay zakat to the poor.
Yeah. Most people give it to the poor because maybe they're the most people in need, but we know we can give it to any of these. Concentrate on the 7th.
The value is in debt, isn't it not?
8. Now, okay, what's shurut zakat? The conditions before that makes you obliged to pay zakat.
Al-Islam.
Number 1, Islam. Islam in everything is a condition. Or you have 3 conditions that will be in everything. Al-Islam, wal-aql wal-bulugh. Al-Islam and good sense of mind and bulugh, puberty. Okay, that's 3. 4. Oh wait, in the zakah we only have Islam and Islam. No aql, no bulugh. So if a crazy person has money, his guardian pays his zakah for him. Okay? And the same thing, if a child has money, his guardian pays off the zakah for him.
Can I ask you a question? I've been meaning to ask about this for a while and I haven't got around to doing it. When you have a certain amount of money stored away for a certain amount of time, I'm not sure what the time is, but I'm meant to do zakat from that.
Yeah, we'll mention the conditions, covering the conditions. So the first one is Islam. Second, al-hurriya, freedom. So a slave doesn't have to pay zakat because he's considered an item anyway. 3, mulk al-nisab. You have to have a threshold, a certain amount of money that is already defined in the Quran and Sunnah, depending on what you have. It could be gold, it could be silver, it could be inventory, it could be livestock, etc. So, depending on what you have, you see what the nisab is, what the threshold is. If you have that, then the 4th condition, tamam al-hawl. A year has to pass. So after you reach that threshold, you wait for a year. After a year passes and you still have that threshold, then you pay your zakat. Clear?
For example, alright, let's say hypothetically you find very
No, brother, let's not take hypothetical questions because we're in a hurry and.
Not clear. So you mean we don't have free here? We don't have physical?
Look, for example, the threshold is $300, for example. So if you started working, let's say you get $100 a week, and you don't spend anything. So after 3 weeks, you have $300, so you reach a threshold. So now you mark this date down. Like for example, what's today's date? 2nd or 4th of October? Okay, I have the nisab now, I have $300, I'll mark this date down. Next year, the 4th of October 2014, if I still have more than that 300, I'll pay zakat. Now if my money went under the 300, if I spent some and I only have 250 left, I don't pay zakat. Clear? Clear?
Yeah. But so you don't pay the cab
At all, because you don't have a nisab. One of the conditions is milk nisab.
But
If you
what
don't have a
if-
nisab, you don't pay.
Don't you become a person who can receive zakat then?
No.
If you are poor, yes.
But how do poor
If you are
people
needy,
pay zakat?
No, not the poor person says zakat. The zakat should go to that person.
So we mentioned 4 conditions so far: Islam, al-hurriya, Islam, freedom, having a threshold, and tamam al-hawl, so a year passing that threshold. Number 5, أن يكون النصاب زائدا عن الحاجة. So that threshold that you have, it should be after
Paying off your
no,
debts.
after after expenses. Like for example, you have rent, you have
Food,
food,
clothes.
electricity,
Petrol.
etc. So that that threshold should be plus expenses. Okay? And number 6 is al-mulk al-tam bil-mal. You should own that money 100%. It should be all yours. Like it's not you don't have it's not a business where you have a partner or something. That's your money 100%. Like your own money, for example, you work, you get money, that's your money. But if you're in a business where you have a partner, then that's a different story. You do have zakat, but there's different conditions. Okay? So who can repeat the 6 conditions for me?
Islam, freedom, threshold for over a year, threshold, you have to have a certain threshold.
That's
It's in the Quran.
Yeah, that's number 3, yeah.
And it has to be, and number 4 has to be for over a year.
Over a year, yes.
Okay, number 5, the threshold
Has to be more than the need.
has to be more than your needs,
Yes.
your expenses. And number 6, it should be all your money.
Yeah, true.
I wrote it mine with.
That's alright, yeah. Okay, that's the 3rd pillar. 4th, as-sawm. Sawm Ramadan, fasting. So who can define as-sawm for me?
That
Yes, with the linguistic. But very important about this. We want to get this in our brains. Straight out, the definition is start. Linguistic definition is this, and then terminological definition is this.
Abstain.
Huh?
To abstain.
لغة الإمساك, to abstain from something. Can be from anything. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran, فإما ترين من البشر أحدا فقولي إني نذرت للرحمن صوما. الله Azza wa Jalla says to Maryam عليه السلام. مريم إما ترين من البشر أحدا فقولي إني نذرت للرحمن صوما. They didn't have fasting at that time, did they? But it was still mentioned. Why? What did it mean to abstain? To abstain from what? At that time, it meant to abstain from talking. Allah Azza wa Jalla told Maryam, if you see someone, don't talk to him. Tell him I'm fasting. It means I can't talk.
Do you know what ayah is talking about?
No. The 3rd page. It's on the 3rd page. Also, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, إذا دعي أحدكم إلى طعام فليجب وإن كان صائما فليصلي. Okay, this was supposed to be before. إذا دعي أحدكم إلى طعام فليجب. If someone of you was invited to food, فليجب. You should answer. You should go. If somebody invited you to food or to, you should go and accept his invitation. وإن كان صائما, if he's fasting, فليصلي. He should pray. What does that mean? Dua, yes. If you're fasting, you make dua for him. It doesn't mean you actually pray. You make dua for him. So that the sawm here means the terminological meaning of sawm, which is الإمساك عن جميع المفطرات من طلوع الفجر الثاني إلى غروب الشمس. To abstain from anything that breaks fast, which we know is three things.
Sanity. Islam.
What are the three مفطرات?
I'm not going to say anything anymore, bro.
مفطرات are the three things that break our fast. Food, الأكل. Drink, شرب. Third. الجماع. الجماع intercourse. الصوم شرعا is to abstain from the three things that break a person's fast from طلوع الفجر الثاني from the fajr to غروب الشمس till المغرب till the sunset. Okay, الشروط. What are the شروط that makes fasting obligatory on someone? Number one, Islam.
Sanity.
Two, sanity, العقل. Three, البلوغ, puberty.
Purity.
Fourth, purity. You don't have to have wudu to fast.
Oh, yeah.
Four, ability. القدرة على الصوم. A person has to be able to fast. If fasting makes him sick, does he fast?
No.
Okay, what does he do?
Pays.
Yeah, he pays for each day. Oh, يطعم عن كل يوم مسكين. Each day he. Yeah, كفارة. He pays a كفارة. Each day he feeds a poor person. Yeah.
How are we going to find a poor person to feed here? I have honestly no idea.
No, I'm sure there are many poor people here. You will find inshallah, but you don't need to, you can fast.
Yeah, I could definitely fast.
So who can repeat the four conditions for me?
Islam, sanity, maturity, and health.
Islam, sanity, puberty and
Ability.
Because some sick people can fast. It depends on the sickness. If you have a fever,
If you're pregnant.
or if you have a headache, you can fast. Or if you have
If you're pregnant.
pregnant depends. If the infant will be affected or not, it depends. Okay, these are the conditions that make fasting obligatory. Now, certain circumstances, of course, like a traveler, or that's certain circumstance. But fasting is obligatory on him. Proves that he has to fast his days back, right? That means fasting is a must on him. Yeah.
The shurut, so the four shurut was only four?
For some, only four conditions. Okay? The last one, the Hajj. Who can define Hajj for me?
Pilgrimage.
What did I say?
Linguistic. Come on, man.
Linguistic. No.
التعريف اللغوي. The linguistic meaning means القصد. القصد. To
Visit.
no, to intend something or to لا إله إلا الله, like
To aim.
yeah, to aim to go to some place. That's the linguistic meaning of al-Hajj. And of course the Arabic meaning or the Islamic meaning is close.
Is that right?
Al-Qasd, when you intend to go somewhere, you can say Hajj to the certain place. I intended to go, or I started out to go to a certain place. Now the Islamic meaning made it exclusive to one place, which is Kaaba. قصد الكعبة لأداء أفعال مخصوصة. To set out to go to Kaaba to do certain rituals. That's
إلى مكة ليس الكعبة. الحج ليس بالكعبة ولا.
قصد مكة لأداء أفعال مخصوصة. So to set out to go to Mecca to do certain stuff, to do certain rituals. Sure, the conditions of a Hajj.
Islam.
Number one, Islam. Two,
Sanity.
Al-Aql, sanity. Three, puberty. Fourth,
Capability.
Ability.
before that, Al-Hurriya,
Purity.
freedom.
Freedom.
Freedom, yeah.
Freedom.
Yeah. Al-Abd لا يجب عليه. The slave doesn't have to make Hajj. 5,
Ability.
ability. Now, when we say ability here, what type of ability do we mean?
Both physical and financial.
Physical and financial, both. قدرة مالية وبدنية. Now, ulama here, they have a debate. Some people say that if a person has the financial ability, but not the physical ability, does he have to make
Can't you just send someone in?
Yes, some ulama say yes, he has to. I mean, it's obligatory on him, so he should pay for someone else to make Hajj on his behalf. That's if he has the financial but not the physical. Okay, the other way around, if he has the physical but not the financial, it's not obligatory on him anyways. He doesn't have to make Hajj. Okay? Now, when it comes to a woman, that was 5 conditions, right? Now when it comes to a woman, there's 2 more conditions, which would be 6. Mahram wujud mahram. If he doesn't have a mahram, she doesn't have to make Hajj. And the 7th, or the second exclusive condition for the woman, ألا تكون معتدة. She shouldn't be in her iddah. Like if she was divorced, for example, or her husband died, she's in iddah, right? A mourning period. Now, during this mourning period, she has to stay in her house. So if Hajj comes while she's in this mourning period, she doesn't have to make it. Okay? Now, we saw that what was the mutual condition in all these 5 pillars?
Islam.
So a kafir is not obliged to do any of these. But does that mean he won't be punished for it or not?
He'll be punished.
He will be punished. The ulama say al-kuffar mukhatabun before al-sharia. Everything that Allah told us to do, that's for mankind, Muslim and kuffar. But we as Muslims, we choose to do what the kuffar don't. Now what's the proof on that?
Doesn't Allah say that not everyone gets, Allah uses a chance for everyone to, like everyone knows about deen?
Yeah. فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. Yeah. So, you mean that's a proof, you mean? Now there's a proof that says that the kuffar will be punished for not doing this stuff. Yeah. ما سلككم في سقر قالوا لم نكن من المصلين ولم نكن نطعم المسكين وكنا نخوض مع الخائضين وكنا نكذب بيوم الدين حتى أتانا اليقين.
What verse is that?
Wait, what text translation? It's in Surah Al-Mudaththir. So in the day of judgment, people will be asking the people in hellfire, ما سلككم في سقر? What put you there? What put you in fire? What will their answer be? Number 1, لم نكن من المصلين. We never used to pray. ولم نكن نطعم المسكين. We didn't used to give money to the poor. وكنا نخوض مع الخائضين. People that used to talk nonsense and rubbish, ridicule the Muslims. We used to be with them. وكنا نكذب بيوم الدين. We didn't believe in the day of judgment. So that goes to show that the kuffar, they have to do this stuff. And by not doing it, they will be punished. Understood? Can you see that from the proof?
Isn't there another proof inside in Al-Ahzab where Allah says قالوا يا ريتنا أطعنا الله وأطعنا الرسول وقالوا ربنا إنا أطعنا سادتنا وكبراءنا فأضلنا.
Yeah, but that doesn't show that like in this ayah it mentioned the salah, it mentioned the Imam Biyawm al-Akhir, it mentioned sadaqah, it mentioned these stuff. Well, that is just general ta'ah. Some could say that just goes with belief, Islam, which means a shahada, where this ayah actually mentioned certain rituals or certain parts of worship.
Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah mentioned Ya ayyuhan nas u'budu rabbakum alladhi khalaqakum. For all humanity, not specified here.
Yeah, true. Yep, true, but again this ayah that I mentioned in Surah Al-Mudaththir is more specific, because it actually mentions why they were punished, because they didn't pray, because they didn't believe in the last day, they didn't pay charity, etc. Okay, now, if someone claims to be a Muslim, that means he has to do all these 5 pillars, right? Okay, what if he doesn't do one of these pillars? He believes in Allah Azza wa Jal, he believes in Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he prays, he fasts Ramadan, and he made Hajj. What's missing? Zakah. He didn't pay Zakah.
He's a kafir.
He's a kafir. That's blunt. straight away. He's a kafir. Why? He didn't fulfill Arkan Islam. Now, why are these called Arkan Islam, pillars of Islam? If this thing, for example, this place has, say, 4 pillars, if we took down 1 pillar, what would happen to this place? Is a builder here? It'll fall down straight away. So it's the same thing with Islam. 5 pillars. If 1 pillar goes away, the whole thing crashes down. Now, ulama have been in a debate as to whether, like for example, someone didn't fast, or someone didn't pay zakah, or someone didn't perform hajj. If he dies, should we do it on his behalf? And will it help him or not? Now, most of the ulama say, most of them, jumhur ulama, which is the predominant opinion, inshallah, that if what stopped the person from doing it was just that he was unable to, like for example, Saum, he was unable to fast, or Hajj, he was unable to perform Hajj physically, then yes, we can fast on his behalf, and we can, or actually we have to fast on his behalf, and we have to perform Hajj on his behalf. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, "Man mata wa alayhi siyam, sama anhu waliyuh." Whoever dies and has some days of siyam to pay back, his wali, his guardian, should fast on his behalf. And the same thing for Hajj. If someone was physically unable, but financially able, and he died without performing, but he had the intention of performing Hajj, then we can take out from his money, pay someone to make Hajj on his behalf. Okay, if the person was not fasting, or not paying zakah, or not doing Hajj because he just didn't want it, do we do it on his behalf?
No.
No, we don't fast on his behalf, and we don't make Hajj on his behalf. Zakah, do we pay zakah on his behalf?
No.
Some of the ulama say yes, we do. Why? Because zakah is haqq al-fuqara. It's a right for the needy people. It's their right, it's their money, it's not his money, it's their money. So yes, we take out from their money and we give the poor. But doing this, will this benefit him? No. We do it just to give the poor, just to fulfill their needs, not to actually benefit him. Understood? And some of the ulama as well say, if someone died while he was able to perform Hajj and he didn't. Oh no. No, that only goes with zakah. Why? Because it's a right for the poor, as I mentioned. Whereas in Hajj and Saum, that's specifically for the person. Right? I perform Hajj, I benefit. I fast, I benefit. So if I die without doing it, I won't be benefited if someone else does it on my behalf. Understood? Alright. That's the first level of religion and Islam. We'll go to the next one now. Iman. I mentioned before, how many pillars of Iman? 6. Okay, and I mentioned before that if Iman is mentioned by itself, it means religion in general, everything, beliefs and worships. Whereas if Islam and Iman came in the same sentence, what does Iman mean? What does Islam mean? Iman is the spiritual beliefs, while Islam is the physical ones, the practical worships. Okay? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, لا يدخل الجنة إلا المؤمنون. أستغفر الله. إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. So this ayah, it mentioned more than just physical stuff. إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم. When Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned, you see them in fear. وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا. And when His ayahs are recited to them, the iman increases. وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. And they rely on Allah Azza wa Jalla. So this ayah mentions more than just beliefs, right? So it goes to show that when Iman is mentioned by itself, it means the whole religion as a whole. But as I mentioned, when it's mentioned with Islam, like in the ayah, قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا. So this shows that there is a difference between Islam and Iman. Okay, let's go to the definition now. Who can give me a definition of Iman? تعريف الإيمان.
الاعتقاد بالقلب.
What did I say first? Linguistic meaning first.
إيمان is اعتقاد.
الإيمان لغة it can mean two meanings. First, التصديق, to believe. General, believe. Number two, إعطاء الأمان. If you say أمنت فلانا, it means I gave him safety. Nobody can touch him. Why? Because I gave him al-aman, I gave him safety. So Iman comes meaning two, with two linguistic meanings. التصديق وإعطاء الأمان. شرعا, the terminological definition is
الاعتقاد بالقلب والقول باللسان والعمل بالجوارح والأرض.
one more thing.
والتصديق
يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. So الإيمان is اعتقاد بالجنان وقول باللسان وعمل بالأركان يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. So it's belief with the heart وقول باللسان and saying with the tongue وعمل بالأركان and acting with the limbs يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية. It increases with الطاعة, worship, obedience, good deeds وينقص بالمعصية, and it decreases with sins, معصية. So we as Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe that Iman is one thing or more than one thing? More than one thing, yeah. Iman is what do we mean by one thing or not? Can we say that some person either has Iman or doesn't? Black and white? No. A person can have 100% Iman, can have 70%, can have 50%, can have 30%. So Iman is not just one block. Okay? It's divided. And people differ in their levels of Iman. Okay. Arkan, the first pillar is Al-Iman Billah. We've mentioned it many times. Who can give me just the Islamic definition of Al-Iman Billah? Well, it's the same one anyway. Come on, we took it in Shahadatain. What does believe in Allah Azza wa Jalla mean? Okay, but there's three parts that we mentioned. Yeah, to believe that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one that controls the universe, Al-Mudabbir, Al-Khaliq, Al-Raziq, Al-Mudabbir, the creator, the sustainer, and the one that controls the universe, and the one that deserves worship, and the names and attributes that he calls himself with, we believe in it. So that's the whole meaning of Al-Iman Billah. Okay, second pillar. Al-Iman Bil-Malaika, to believe in the angels. Okay, what are angels?
Beings of light.
مخلوقات كريمة يجب الإيمان بوجودها جملة وتفصيلا. Blessed creation, Allah Azza wa Jalla created them from light, and we must believe in them جملة وتفصيلا. What does that mean?
Generally and specifically.
Generally and specifically. Okay, how do we believe in the angels generally?
We know that.
You believe in their existence. Anything that Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned about them, like their number, how many they are, what they're made of, we believe in that altogether. Now, is there a specific number of angels that Allah Azza wa Jalla specified? But we can have an idea that they're so many. Allah Azza wa Jalla said في البيت المعمور يصلي فيه كل يوم 70,000 ملك إذا دخلوا لم يعودوا إلى يوم القيامة. البيت المعمور, which is in the seventh sky, every day 70,000 angels pray in there. Now, when they pray in there that day, when they come out, they never come back again. Another 70,000 angels, and then another 70,000 angels each day, until the day of judgment. So imagine how many. Allah Ta'ala says in the other Quran, in the other, Nabi Sallallahu says in the other hadith, يؤتى يوم القيامة بجهنم له 70,000 زمام على كل زمام 70,000 ملك. The day of judgment, the hellfire will be bought with 70,000 chains. On each chain, 70,000 angels pulling it. So imagine how many. Imagine how many angels. SubhanAllah. Okay, tafsilan, how do you believe in them specifically or in detail?
We know like the main ones, like say.
We believe in the ones that Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned. How many did Allah Azza wa Jal mention? For example, Jibreel, who is the one that gives the wahi to the messengers, the one that gives the revelation to the messengers. Israfil, for example. Israfil, the one that blows in the horn. Mika'il,
Says rain.
the one that's muwakkal bil matar, the one that Allah Azza wa Jal orders to send the rain down. Munkar wa Nakir, Munkar and Nakir,
The question.
the ones that question you in your grave.
Harut and Marut.
Harut and Marut, the ones that taught magic to the people of Babel. Ridwan,
Malik.
Ridwan, Khazin al-Jannah, the keeper of Jannah.
Malik.
Malik,
The keeper of
the
Nar.
keeper of Jannah. So these, how many were there? Jibreel, Israfil, Mika'il, Munkar, Nakir, Ridwan and Malik. 7 angels, Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned their names and their jobs. So we believe in their names and the occupations Allah Azza wa Jalla gave them. Now, what does believing in the angels require? First, mahabbatuhum, to love them. We as Muslims, we love the angels. Why? Because they worship Allah Azza wa Jalla. As Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned about them, يسبحون الليل والنهار لا يفترون. They make tasbih to Allah Azza wa Jalla day and night without stopping. Day and night. يسبحون الليل والنهار لا يفترون. They don't stop. And so we love them and we try to be like them in their type of worship. Also, عدم إيذائهم بالروائح الكريهة. We don't disturb them with bad sense. Like in the hadith, من أكل ثوما أو كراثا فلا يقربن مسجدنا فإن الملائكة تتأذى مما يتأذى منه بنو آدم. Whoever eats onions and garlic shouldn't pray in the mosque. Why?
They disturb the
Because
angels.
it harms people and angels. Or the angels get harmed from what people are harmed from, which is the scent of this onion and garlic and karath. I'm not sure what karath is in English. عدم اقتناء التماثيل والصور والكلاب. Not to have تماثيل, statues, photos and dogs in the house. Why? Because it expels the angels. A house that has statues, or photos, or dogs, we know Malaika doesn't enter this house. So when we say we believe in angels, we should do all this stuff. We should love them. We should believe in their names, in their occupations. We should try to be like them in their worship. We should not disturb them with bad sense and not have statues or photos or dogs in the house. Do we have time? Okay, so we'll wrap up tonight, inshallah. And we still have 3 more pillars of Iman and the Rihab al-Ihsan. And then we're going to Shirk and the Kufr and the Nifaq and the Ridda, inshallah. We'll try to finish next session, inshallah. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.